clutch is worn out on the tractor and needs replacing, so I had to split the tractor in two, and it was just at Christmas time and I was feeding the sheep, so I couldn't get the professionals to do it. So I split the tractor, there it is split, then I drew it out, there's the old clutch on the flywheel, and then I took that off and looked at the plates and they were absolutely ruined, both the transmission and the PTO plate. See, the rivets are worn and the facings breaking away, so because it's so worn I had to buy a new clutch, new pressure plate. I needed a cardan shaft to fit it. Here's the PTO shaft and the transmission shaft, and there's quite a lot of play in the PTO shaft, not surprisingly because it's done thousands of hours of work. But this drive shaft plate goes with the hub to the front, and it just fits on there. Now this movement here when it's drawing up, I'm going to have to know when that plate's located because all this is enclosed in the clutch housing. And then that clutch will go back on there. And the PTO plate will fit on here, go back there, and then we're left with just the width of the intermediate plate, 1.9 centimetres in between. But it's the trick of getting this flywheel, this pilot, to fit in the pilot bearing with both these clutch plates located on their splines. And I'm worried that this movement with a worn machine, because it has to be, the clearance is a fraction of a millimetre, and there is 2 or 3 millimetres play on the shaft. So when I'm drawing it up, what I have been doing is I've been using bolts to draw it together, but I have damaged one drive plate using this technique. Ideally, the clutch should just slide together and then tighten the bolts without having to draw it together using bolts. It should just slide together. But the problem is this flooring, the concrete here, has stiffened and it's rested on this jack, and that is moving quite a lot. I'm struggling to get the shaft to locate in the pilot shaft with the plates in place on the rough surface. And I did ask the professionals for help, but I couldn't get it booked in time, and I've got to feed the sheep. The sheep need a bale now, they're hungry, so I had to start it myself. But I'll crack on and see what we can do. So I borrowed a cardan shaft from the local engineer. I drew out the tractor further so that I could see the alignment. So it's 6 3/4 inches. The transmission and PTO shaft are just entering through the release plate. I used threaded rod to draw it together and eventually finish the job.